relationship continues. Here are some signs of abusive tendencies: showing jealousy of the victim's family and friends, accusing victim of cheating, controlling who the victim sees, where they go, or what they do, preventing the victim from making his or her own decision, intimidating the victim with guns, knives, or other weapons. Noticing and acknowledging the signs of an abusive relationship is the first step to ending it. Therefore, abusive behavior is never acceptable, whether it is coming from a man or a woman, a teenager or an older adult. We all deserve to be valued, respected, and safe.
Gas pipelines are the arteries for powering electricity. When the artery is burst, then the entire system collapses. Vandalizing gas pipelines is a criminal.
Hello and a warm welcome to Weekend File. I am Ifeanyi Okafor. Tonight we focus on fertilizer supply and availability as Nigerian farmers go into another raining and planting season. Fertilizers boost for the harvesting yield is as much needed agricultural input by farmers, and supply has been of major concern year in, year out. What price do farmers get the commodity? The issue of a subsidy by the federal government and availability of the product to farmers are issues that we will examine in reports from across the country. Also, a member of the Presidential Committee on Fertilizer will be here for a discussion of the issue. This will come after we take the day's news. President Muhammadu Buhari has again assured Nigerians of his administration's commitment to rescuing the remaining Chibok schoolgirls abducted by Boko Haram terrorists. The president was represented by the Minister of Defense, Mansour Dan Ali, at the 53rd anniversary of the Nigerian Air Force in Makurdi, Benue State capital. Defense correspondent Isaac Nkoma reports.
The president, while commending the gallantry of the military in decimating Boko Haram terrorists, also urged them to sustain the tempo of operations in the northeast and other parts of the country in ensuring peace and freedom of citizens as well as Nigeria's territorial integrity.
I therefore charge you to continue to protect our national interests while at the same time eradicating national security threats. We could not consider the war against insurgency fully won until the remaining Chibok girls are found and delivered to their parents. Government is fully committed and determined to fulfill this objective as soon as possible.
The Nigerian Air Force, through Air Component Command of Operation Lafia Dole, continues efforts to wipe out Boko Haram terrorists in the northeast. However, pockets of terrorist attacks persist.
How effective, efficient the NAV has been in all this is a reflection of how we have developed from an Air Force that was rolling out bombs from cabins of aircraft during the Civil War to an Air Force that is controlling unmanned aerial vehicles on a bombing mission 200 kilometers from a ground-based station.
Intelligence reports say they took advantage of hazy weather during the Harmattan to regroup in small units to launch attacks, and with the rains setting in, they may want to cash in on poor visibility and turbulence usually experienced by pilots of combat aircraft. Hence, the induction of the Mi-35M attack helicopter. Be it in the worst weather, day or night, the Mi-35M combat helicopter has the capacity to search, locate and destroy enemy targets. This asset of the Nigerian Air Force is a big plus to the counterinsurgency operation in the northeast. From the NAV base, Makurdi, Isaac Nkuma, NTA News.
Airline operators and passengers have continued to commend the federal government for prompt completion of rehabilitation works and other renovations at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja. Correspondent Emmanuel Ayimiro, who has been monitoring the development, reports that air activities are now in full swing.
As more international and local airlines continue to fly in and out of the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, after its reopening, more passengers have continued to troop to the airport. Here are their observations.
Inside, I've seen quite a number of renovations, a number of innovations in terms of it looks like the furniture have been changed. A lot of other things have come up that gives a better look to the airport.
I'm flying from Lagos into Abuja. I mean, the convenience is super.
I have 3 children already, and it was really stressful to go to Kaduna. So I was very happy that they stuck to the date and everything is all on point. So, up Nigeria.
The authorities should make sure that for the fees that they take on toll and all of that, that should be put into maintaining the airports, the runway and everything.
The air conditioners are working, very well now.
At the General Aviation Terminal, a chartered flight pilot, Captain Atige Manzo, shared his opinion on the reopening of the airport.
Been in and out of Nigeria ever since decades, but this stint I am here for last 7 months. And I've landed, I've used the old runway and this doesn't look like anything like that. I didn't expect that they will do such a good job on the runway. Runway is absolutely very smooth. They have done a very good job.
Another promise kept by the government is the installation of elevator at Terminal B, which is now functioning.
I feel when I consider people on wheelchair, it's like not allowing people on wheelchair or crippled to go on flights. But now, with the lift, it makes a lot of sense. Quite encouraging, and the rebranding is showing. It was fantastic, great. 1 second, I'm up.
Airport users are to expect more improvements.
The front of the terminal is looking beautiful. Our lifts are functioning. The cooling system has been worked upon. The whole place has a new ambience about it. So we're assuring our flying public that as they come into the airport, they should expect new things from fun. We're in business and transforming to serve the public better.
It was gathered that all flights that used to land in Abuja Airport have fully resumed. Emmanuel Ayemiro, NTA News.
And now to economic matters. Is Nigeria on the right path to economic recovery? And is the government's new revenue drive yielding results? These are some of the questions Finance Minister Kemi Adeosun has been answering at the ongoing spring meeting in Washington, D.C. Leah Katung Babatunde brings us up to speed on that report.
Global financial institutions, major global economies and ratings agencies are part of groups Finance Minister Kemi Adeosun has been meeting with in Washington, D.C. Most see the Economic Recovery Growth Plan as a milestone as the minister reassures the economy is on a sound footing.
There's a general consensus that Nigeria will return to growth in 2017, which of course is very encouraging. It's an endorsement of the policies we've been following. The thing is, what do we do? What policies do we need to sustain that growth and make sure that it translates into improvements for people?
While oil prices have seen significant improvement, Nigeria's debt ratio remains safe compared with tax. Minister Kemi Adeosun aligns with major global economic players that tax reforms are critical for proper revenue generation to improve infrastructure and promote development.
As mentioned there around automatic exchange of information, base shifting, that's where companies move profits so that they avoid tax. There's a lot of compact around stopping that, and we believe that that will support the work that we're doing on revenue mobilization. That will reduce the amount of debt that we need to take and improve our ability to fund our infrastructure projects and get our economy going. It's fundamental.
As consultations continue, Adeosun remains optimistic of vibrant economies around the corner. From Washington, D.C., I'm Lerkatung Babatunde, NTA News.
President Muhammad Buhari has congratulated the Director General of the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, NIMASA, Dr. Dakuku Peterside, on his election as the new chairman of the African Maritime Administration, AMA. The election of Dr. Dakuku emerged at the end of the third annual conference of the Continental Organization in Abuja on Friday. The president said the unanimous election of Peter Said is not only a personal honor and affirmation of confidence in his ability to lead AMA, but also places Nigeria in a pivotal position to rally other maritime administrations in collaboration with the International Maritime Organization, IMO, towards safer global maritime activities. A statement by the special advisor to the president on media and publicity, Femi Adesina, quoted President Buhari as saying that given NIMASA's encouraging performance under Dr. Peter Said, especially in the fight against sea piracy, the new position is a bigger platform to do the nation proud. Now, as Nigeria prepares to host the 61st United Nations World Tourism Commission for Africa meeting of the Ministers of Culture and Tourism next year, ministers at the just concluded 59th meeting in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, have hailed Nigeria's leadership role on the continent, especially in its capacity to remain as a stabilizing force to sister nations. Anthony Forsen reports.
Nigeria is known as the giant of Africa. In some fora, it is referred to as the big brother. Nigeria, no doubt, has impacted positively on the continent, hence the respect it is accorded at every fora when nations converge. When Nigeria was unanimously endorsed to host the 61st meeting of the United Nations World Tourism Organization CAF meeting, Sierra Leone and the Gambia could not hold back their respect for Nigeria.
There are countries that are most mentioned specifically, and I'll start with Nigeria, as always being like an elder brother to Sierra Leone. We all know that during our civil war, Nigeria was one of the countries that came to our aid by sending in their soldiers to rescue us. After the civil war, when our government was toppled twice, Nigeria came in and restored the democratically elected government. Every opportunity we have as Sierra Leoneans, we will continue to extend our appreciation and thanks to the government and the people of Nigeria.
They're coming long way out of what used to be in Nigeria, and I believe Nigeria will maintain the achievement they got from 2015 right onwards, create jobs. Even the ordinary man in the village benefits. The ordinary woman in the village benefits. He sells vegetables. He sells some other things. That everyone benefits. Employment becomes everybody's right. That makes a difference in making sure that citizens believe in their country, in their government, and of course will do whatever it takes to protect that country.
The leader of Nigeria's delegation and Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, reaffirmed that Nigeria has returned to the global scene.
The entire world has endorsed the programs, the efforts of the Buhari administration. It reiterates the confidence the global community has in Nigeria.
About 30 ministers and over 20 heads of government, alongside delegations from Europe and the Caribbean, attended the Addis Ababa meeting. In Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, Anthony Forsen, NTA News.
The current administration has reiterated a commitment to make life meaningful for all Nigerians. Head of the Civil Service of the Federation, Winifred Oyoita, said this when she donated a house to a civil servant who gave birth to quintuplets at the National Hospital, Abuja. Adebola Brookslyn Sunday has details.
Mr. and Mrs. Udoehi are just 1 year and 4 months in marriage, and this is their first delivery.
5 beautiful children.
Currently, they live in a single-room apartment, and when discharged from the hospital, have no place to accommodate the children. Mrs. Oyoita, who made the presentation on behalf of the federal government, said President Muhammadu Buhari is mindful of their challenges.
On behalf of the Federal Civil Service, to tell you that the Federal Integrated Staff Housing Program, FISH, will be made available to you. We will give you a house that can accommodate you, your husband, and your 5 children.
I'm delighted. That means it's good when God says your turn is your turn.
We know they are wonderful children, and God has brought them to Nigeria as a blessing.
Mrs. Oyoita, who also donated other gift items, assured the family of government support in other areas. The mother of the babies is a civil servant with the National Population Commission, while her husband is an applicant. Adebola, Brooklyn Sunday, NTA News.
Yagasan community in Calabar municipality of Cross River State, which recently lost some youths at the football viewing center, is to receive a model state-of-the-art viewing center. It is in memory of the football fans electrocuted while watching a European League match. Omar Basiedet has details.
The tragic incident of Thursday night where some youths were electrocuted while watching a match at a viewing center in Calabar has continued to elicit sympathies from well-meaning Nigerians. Mothers of the kingdom moved by the sad incident say they will not only provide a suitable viewing center in the community, but will ensure that the families of the deceased are well catered for. Director General of the Primary Health Care Development Agency, Dr. Betta Edu, was also at the University of Calabar Teaching Hospital to condole with the victims.
I appeal to the youth to remain calm, hold on to your God. You are doing something peaceful, you were watching football. Stay off crime, stay off the street as we have been doing.
We need to use this medium to begin sensitization of the public on basic life-saving skills that the public should know about.
Community leader Yasang said a compendium would be made of all those who lost their lives during the incidents, stressing that the death toll may be higher than 7.
Also use this opportunity to call on the government. We should not always wait until something of such happens before they now start setting up inquiry committee.
The state-of-the-art viewing center is expected to be replicated in different communities to prevent a reoccurrence of such tragedies. In Calabar, Umar Basidet, NTA News.
And to bilateral relations, as Nigeria's diplomatic and military cooperation with Bangladesh is being strengthened with the proposed reopening of the embassies of the two countries closed for decades. Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai, said this while receiving the Bangladeshi Chief of Army Staff in Lagos.
Equal to Lieutenant General Buratai's visit to Bangladesh is aimed at further deepening military ties, particularly in the area of counter-insurgency operations. With the good records and experience of the two armies in fighting terrorism, Nigeria's army chief noted that sustained collaboration will facilitate tackling of insurgency.
Bangladesh experience in counter-insurgency is something that I have brought to bear in my efforts to rid Nigeria of the Boko Haram insurgency.
Commending Nigeria's success in the war against Boko Haram, the visiting army chief said Bangladesh will learn from Nigeria's military jungle operation. Considering the fact that ideological warfare is a core component of counter-insurgency operations, I sought to know what the Bangladesh military has to offer in that direction.
Insurgency cannot be fought only by military. It has to be a total approach. It is a political, ideological, economical, and also military. So all together, we can fight an insurgency.
The guests later had a guided cruise tour from Takwi Bay through Falamo Bridge that links Ikoyi and VI. From Lagos, Ismail Musa, and
Now, the Nigeria police has declared one Tawase Akwaza, alias Ghana, a Benue State indigene, wanted for his suspected role in the killing of 17 persons in Zaki Biam on the 20th of March and 50 others within the state. First Republic Relations Officer of Police Jimo Moshud stated this while parading 19 persons suspected to have links to the killings. Edino Justice has details.
Briefing journalists on the outcome of the joint police-military investigation into Zaki Biam killing and other killings in different locations in Benue State, the police spokesperson said the suspects are held for the roles they played in the crimes. He noted that Tawase Akwaza, alias Ghana, the suspected leader of the gang, narrowly escaped when the joint team stormed their hideouts in the forest but recovered cash of arms and ammunition.
Feel that one Tawase Akwaza, aka Ghana, a gang leader of a vicious and notorious serial killer syndicate, is also responsible for so many kidnappings, armed robberies, causes violence leading to loss of lives and property in other parts of Benue State. During interrogation, they admitted to be the cohort of the wanted suspect, Tewese Akase, aka Ghana. They will be charged to court on completion of investigation.
Police said Tawase Akwaza, alias Ghana, speaks Steve, Idoma, and Pidgin English fluently, that anyone who gives information leading to his arrest will receive a reward of 10 million naira as placed by the state government. In Abuja, Edino Justice, NTA News.
Staying with security matters, Kogi State Government says it is prepared to give amnesty to any person who renounces criminality and embraces peace. Governor Yaya Bello, who said this at a security summit in Okene, warned that there is no hiding place for criminals in the state. Solomon Ayedin has the story.
Relying on Kogi State Anti-Terrorism Law of 2015 on kidnapping, armed robbery, and other forms of criminality, the state government rolled out equipment to Central District, where it commenced the demolition of houses belonging to suspected criminals. The operation, supervised by Governor Yahya Bello, lasted 3 days. 14 houses, a mosque, an hotel, vehicles, shrines, and other personal effects of the suspect were destroyed. Similar exercise was carried out in the East Central District, where houses that belonged to one Zakariao, a suspected criminal, were demolished. To consolidate on the gains of the demolition, the state government convened a security stakeholders meeting at Okene. Speakers at the forum lamented the negative effects of insecurity and blamed its upsurge on the erosion of traditional and religious values, infrastructural decay, unemployment, and clannish sentiments.
We have vowed to fight security to a standstill.
You don't know what it is until somebody that is very close to you is being killed.
How many of us were even able to come home over the years simply because of the menace of these miscreants?
The governor urged the people to take advantage of his administration's whistleblowing policy by exposing crime and perpetrators. Solomon Ayedehi, NTA News.
The Federal Road Safety Commission, FRSC, says it has recorded 62 fatal accidents involving commercial and heavy-duty vehicles across the country due to lack of speed limiting device in the first quarter of this year. Corps Marshal Boboye Oyeyami in Gusau, Zamfara State advised drivers to install the device in order to reduce the rate of accidents to the barest minimum.
The Corps Marshal explained that as a result of initiating the idea of the device and its subsequent use, road crashes have reduced drastically.
The success story. I've achieved about 37% now, and we believe that if we can get the commercial vehicles to comply, this will bring down the crashes.
The Chief Executive of the Federal Road Safety Corps, Mr. Boboye Oyeyemi, who underscored the importance of installing speed camera, also stressed the need for attitudinal change in the use of such camera.
There's a difference between speed limiting device and speed camera. Speed camera is an infrastructure that the government must install on the highways.
The Chief Executive of the Commission, along his entourage, had earlier inspected the office of the Commission in the state under construction. The project, which has so far reached 90% completion, has office accommodation of senior officers, that of sector commander, and a hall among others. The Corps Marshal, who expressed appreciation on the work at the office of the State Command, said the structure will soon be commissioned to improve productivity. In Gusau, Halliru Muhammad Umar, NTA News.
Speaker, House of Representatives Yakubu Dogara has described the death of Alhaji Ahmadu Chachangi as a loss not only to his immediate family, but humanity in general. He stated this when he led some of his colleagues to condole the family in Kaduna. Mohammed Lawal Baba reports.
The Speaker, along with some members, were received on arrival by son of the deceased Rufai Ahmadu Chachangi, who is also a member of House of Representatives at their family residence in Tudunwada, Kaduna. Yakubu Dogara said, let Chachangi live a fulfilled life.
in the work he did for his religion, and then in the successes he recorded in business.
He extolled the virtues of the deceased as they relate to humanitarian support to the less privileged. The speaker advised his children to replicate what their late father was able to accomplish during his lifetime. Late Alhaji Ahmadu Chanchangi died leaving behind 3 wives, 33 children, and many grandchildren. In Kaduna, Muhammad Lawal Baba, NTA News.
Now you can watch this news live online via the NTA mobile app, which you can download on your Android device at the Google Play Store or at the Apple Store if you use devices with iOS. Fertilizer supply and availability is our focus as Nigerians go into another rainy and farming season. Correspondent reports from across the country when Weekend File returns. Stay with us.
Change does not just happen. You and I and all of us must appreciate that we all have our part to play if we want to bring change about. We must change our lawless habits, our attitude to public office, and public trust. We must change our unruly behavior in schools, hospitals, marketplaces, motor parks, on the roads, in homes and offices. To bring about change, we must change ourselves by being law-abiding citizens.
When the kings of African comedy gather under one roof,
there is only one outcome. Then we bring down the roof. Come witness the craziest
and the funniest,
the oh my God, and the baddest of them all. Laughter will scatter your brain well.
Come watch the biggest names in African comedy at Glow Laughter Fest. Basket Mouth, Bovi, I Go Die, Sheyi Law, Gordons, Salvador, Osama, Bash, Kenny Black, and many more.
You will never have a bigger gathering of jaw-dropping, whip-cracking comedians under one roof. One microphone, one network.
All over Nigeria. Yeah, I'm gonna be there.
I am gonna be there. I'm going to be there.
Live and direct.
For the time of your life.
Will you?
To win a free ticket, use 2,000 Naira in a month and text LOL and your preferred location to 240.
Oh, Laughter Fest. Laugh go kill you, die.
True.
Glow Unlimited.
I can't believe she just rejected me and my camera.
She rejected my lights.
How can she not want makeup?
Maybe when the battery dies, she'll come back to us.
Nah, not with a 4,000 milliampere battery.
Experience the best selfies of your life. Gioni A1 Super Selfie Super Battery.
There is a reason Africa is called the new frontier. What was once potential is now an opportunity ready to be seized. Once revered for our resources, today's wealth is in our people. People who build the cities that shape the future. People who know an idea in one place means business in another. A generation for whom technology means there are no borders, no boundaries. We are the new lions in a brave new world, kings of the urban jungle. And there's a bank that puts the world in our pocket and the future in our hands. UBA, Africa's global bank.
Pump the jam, pump it up while your feet are
stop it. And the gym is pumping. Look at the crowd is jumping. Alright, pop up your jam and push up your hand. You know, say me fans, them plenty like sun. Jump up and dance, make them understand. Say me energy could never be contraband. No matter what life throws at me, I can handle it constantly. All of my fans, them invited. DJ, make my day.
Make my day. Make my day. Make my day.
From the south-south to the northeast, southeast to the northwest, southwest to the north-central, the Future Assured project and its component, Get Involved, is restoring hope to millions of Nigerian women and children.
We are actually doing a lot under Future Assured, the program of Her Excellency Mrs. Aisha Muhammadu Buhari. And I believe what we are doing so far is impacting positively on the lives of women and children in Nigeria, particularly those in the internally displaced camps across the nation.
Get Involved supports the Future Assured initiative. Email programs@futureassured.org.ng. Future Assured, promoting and protecting the lives of Nigerian women and children.
That scenario will not happen.
The insurgency has been contained and agricultural production is bouncing back. Nigeria is working towards food sufficiency.
So FAO, thank you for coming. We discussed we're going to need your help in expanding agriculture, in introducing new crops for local consumption and export. We need to make the rural people richer and happier than they are now.
We must become a nation where we grow what we eat and consume what we produce.
Great to have you back on NTA Weekend File. Now, fertilizer is one of the most important and significant agricultural inputs after seeds, which farmers depend on for increased yield. In spite of this, availability and utilization of the input remain a challenge in Nigeria. In this report, Musa Baba Liu takes a look at demand and supply, as well as the utilization of the commodity in Nigeria.
Inputs, especially fertilizer, are essential for satisfactory crop growth and critical to agricultural activities, especially in soil-degraded areas with low rainfall. Assessing the input has over the years been a source of concern to smallholder farmers. Apart from the scarcity of the product, high cost of the input is also a major challenge. Investigations show that an average farmer applies a minimum of 20 kilograms of fertilizer per hectare against the standard of 100 to 200 kilograms per hectare depending on the type of crop. Agriculturists believe that the more fertilizer employed in growing crops, the higher the yield.
Currently, Nigeria has one of the lowest rates of fertilizer application. And if you don't apply the right quantity from the onset, it affects your yield at the end of the day.
Steps taken by previous administrations to ensure that farmers, especially the smallholder ones, access the fertilizer at ease and at cheaper rate were undermined by corruption, smuggling, and diversion through the activities of middlemen.
We've had fertilizer before in bags of 35 kg. People have sold ashes and all kinds of chaff in the name of fertilizer, cheating farmers.
This also led to the collapse of almost all the indigenous blending plants in the country. In December 2016, Nigerian government and that of Morocco signed an agreement on the supply of phosphates, a major material for fertilizer production. Another agreement was also reached with local producers of the commodity on the production and supply of fertilizer at 5,500 naira.
We must thank Mr. President for the initiative as we are diversifying our economy, as we are looking at agriculture. The major input is fertilizer, and if this is handled, then the little addition on mechanization will follow.
So far, over 300,000 tons of the phosphate have arrived in the country, and 11 blending plants have commenced production in 7 states.
We have also made it possible to have a lot of employment back on course. We have refurbished our plant. We are now in the course of business and we're achieving maximum production capacity. So to us, that is a profit.
The difference between the GES and this is farmers can buy whatever quantity of fertilizer he wants to buy. He's not limited to 2 bags. That's the advantage. And in terms of getting the price, he's getting the price, and government are saving 60 billion naira on this 1 million ton project.
MPK 2010 is the quality of the fertilizer being produced under the initiative based on the soil testing carried out by the Federal Ministry of Agriculture. In Abuja, Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
The realization that Boko Haram insurgents use fertilizer as one of the chemical components in making improvised explosive devices, IEDs, by the concerned authority further restricts its easy access to farmers in Borno State. Pauline Kujevana has the situation from Maiduguri.
The Boko Haram insurgency, which led to the displacement of people, also affected the farming population in Borno State, which used to represent 70% of the total population. This situation was worsened by the inability of farmers to get access to fertilizer as a result of the restriction on the supply of the commodity resulting from the activities of Boko Haram insurgents.
All these stores have urea, but because of the security situation, we cannot be able to sell to people. Because if you want to buy urea now, you have to go to your local government chairman to put hand for you.
We're not going to distribute fertilizer anyhow as before because of the insurgency problem. The Borno State government is making all its effort to purchase more fertilizer and want to distribute to the real farmers.
But the growth enhancement scheme of the federal government could have helped.
The GS came and contacted us, but all is the same problem, the insurgency problem. And then we programmed everything, but we couldn't get it started.
However, Borno State government says it has never relented in procuring and distributing fertilizers to farmers, and plans are on the way to revive the fertilizer production plant in Maiduguri.
By the present arrangement of the FEP zone and then the federal government, we've also decided to let our own be used for the purpose of blending fertilizers. And some other states that do not have it can take their own portions from here too. And even some other countries, though it's a large one.
Farmers in central and northern parts of the state are expected to also benefit from this year's fertilizer supply. Paul Nkujovana, NTA News.
Now, the challenges are also not different in Edo State, as Mary Anyang reports.
As the new farming season begins, farmers in Edo State are already cultivating their lands in order to have enough to eat and sell after harvest. The major challenge over the years has been the non-availability of fertilizer to boost their farm yields. The few who are able to endure the rigors of getting the commodity are groaning over high costs, as the bag of fertilizer now sells for 9,000 naira.
Me and people, we gather buy one bag, so they sell them for us 9,000, 4 of us, so we share them.
The state coordinator of Africa Foundation for Agricultural Development, Dr. Abdullahi Mohammed, said the various anchor programs have not been of benefit to the people who are agitating for fertilizer to be subsidized.
My 3,500 farmers are pestering me on how they can get fertilizer to apply to their products. I go around, no fertilizer.
The only fertilizer company in the state, which was inaugurated in 2003, has never produced a bag, but the state governor, Godwin Obaseki, during a recent working visit to the company, assured the farmers in the state that the company will be resuscitated to start production in earnest.
From the indications, we believe that we can get this factory running.
Permanent Secretary, Minister of Agriculture and Natural Resources, Prince Bashir Kadiri, says the ministry is working to ensure that farmers in the state have more than 140,000 bags of fertilizer with the commencement of their factory in Edo North.
If the Auchi plant, which we are working on now, works out, it means that there will be sustainability to that supply round the clock as soon as that plant is ready. We are hoping in a short while, in the next few weeks, that will be ready.
The farmers are hopeful that soon the promise will translate into action to boost food production in those states.
Non-availability of the fertilizer procured by governments, coupled with its high cost at the market, has continued to pose challenges to farmers in Sokoto State. Mohammed Nasser has details.
Majority of people in Sokoto State are farmers that engage in dry and wet season farming. The demand for adequate fertilizer is therefore high to enable them to perform farming activities satisfactorily. Every year, government procure and distribute fertilizer and other farm inputs to farmers at subsidized rate in order to have a bumper harvest. However, some farmers continue to complain of inadequacy of the fertilizer.
The fertilizer provided by government is not enough to cover all the needs by farmers. Therefore, we appeal for an increase.
The situation often compels some farmers to buy the commodity at the open market, which costs between 7,000 and 8,000 naira per bag. But government said arrangements have been concluded with the federal government to provide 50,000 metric tons of fertilizer to the state this year, which exceeds the needs of farmers.
50,000 metric tons. It means 50,000 times 30 tons. This 30 tons is 600 bags of fertilizer. So 600 bags times 50,000 metric tons is more than enough.
The only fertilizer plant established in Sokoto State a couple of years ago has for long been dormant, but government says with the availability of raw materials for fertilizer production, plans are on to establish another fertilizer production plant.
So we believe if this is established, it will help in providing the much needed fertilizer requirement of our people.
In the meantime, there are indications that the state-owned organic fertilizer plant may start production in December this year. This followed signing of memorandum of understanding between the state and a group of local private investors for the completion of the plant. In Sokoto, Mohammed Nasser, NTA News.
And next is our discussion segment with a member of the Presidential Committee on Fertilizer. After this time, stay with us.
I can't believe she just rejected me and my camera.
She rejected my lights. How can she not want makeup?
Maybe when the battery dies, she'll come back to us.
Nah, not with a 4,000 milliampere battery.
Experience the best selfies of your life. Gioni A1 Super Selfie Super Battery. Cadbury Bournvita now comes in an attractive new 500-gram refill pack. Simply open and reseal after use to retain the chocolatey and creamy taste. Cadbury Bournvita. Prepare to win.
Issues in the sports sector remain one of the most debated among Nigerians due to the passion, followership, government involvement, impact on Nigeria's external image and our national life in the sports parliament. The NTA offers Nigerians deep views on issues with experts in the sports sector, offering in-depth analysis, insight and foresight towards elevating Nigerian sports to the zenith of the sports parliament.
The benefits that accrue in school sports, it is the bedrock of any nation.
A few Nigerians wanted the status quo to continue. So I don't think we should put all Nigerians and say Nigeria don't follow the trend, because the smart ones we are following the trend.
The National Sports Lottery Fund, shrouded in secrecy.
The fact that the Super Eagles played an NTA, not only NTA, no Nigerian broadcaster, in fact no broadcaster anywhere in the world from our records was able to bring that much. It's a matter of concern.
Issa Hayatu was president for 29 years. He lost the election in Addis, and that's it. He's gone.
Sports Parliament, a unique platform for sports discussions, showing live on the NTA, Thursdays at 11 p.m. Keep a date with parliamentarians.
Who else have it?
Nigerians. Suicide bombers are not spirits. They are not ghosts. They are human beings like you and me. They live amongst us. They are your neighbors. They are your friends today, but terrorists tomorrow. So you must know your neighbor now. Security begins with you and me. Know your neighbor. Be vigilant. Be security conscious. Report suspicious persons, objects, and movements to the police and other security agencies. The security of our nation is a duty for you and me.
If you see something, say something. Nigeria, unite against terrorism. This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
You're welcome back to Weekend File, and with me live in the studio is Thomas Etu. He's the President, Fertilizer Producers and Suppliers Association of Nigeria, FEPSAN. He's a member of the Presidential Fertilizer and Gas Committee. He's also the Chairman of TAC Group and the current Chairman of Unity Bank PLC. Thank you for joining us on the program.
Thank you very much.
And now, what measures are being put in place to ensure availability of fertilizer for 2017 and 2018 wet and dry season farming?
Based on the Presidential Committee and on the Presidential Fertilizer Initiative, the committee arrived in designing a program for the 2017 wet farming season and the 2017 dry season farming, which the wet season to produce 1 million ton of NPK-based fertilizer, NPK 2010, which was based on our soil mapping across the country. And that will give 1 million tons, translate to 20 million bags between now and end of July. And the program have started. It was applied part of the dry season farming this year in Kebbi and Jigawa State, and it's ongoing right now.
Now, looking at our reports earlier on, we seem to have, going around the nation, we seem to have problems of insurgency, challenges of availability, and then high cost of the product. Now, what's being done to address this situation?
It's part of what we have addressed in the Presidential Fertilizer Committee. If you look before this intervention comes in, prices of fertilizer have gone up to about 13,000 to averaging at 9,000 before the Presidential Fertilizer Initiative hit the markets, which was February 14, 2017.
Is the same situation still on ground as we speak?
Same situation of what, in terms of price?
In terms of price?
No. This fertilizer, the NPK 2010 is sold at 5,500 to farmers. And you know the program just started in February. Like I said, the farmers that did dry season farming in Kebbi and Jigawa benefited from this program. Currently, 11 blending plants are involved, blending this fertilizer. Like I said, it is divided in 5 batches of 200,000 metric ton each. And we're almost through with batch 1 in terms of production and delivery to farmers. I can say to you, Akwa Ibom are picking. They have picked so far 6,000 metric ton to Akwa Ibom in the last 3 weeks. Ogun State also are picking from a plant in Lagos, Golden Flour Mills. We have Jigawa are picking, Kebbi are picking, and Abia.
What's the situation in Borno State in terms of the insurgency?
Yeah, we know the situation in Borno. Let me generalize it as Northeast, especially Borno and Yobe, because they use the nitrogen-based fertilizer to create bombs, and there is a bit of restriction from the national security. But based on this formulation of fertilizer we have done, NPK 1515, the Northeast would benefit, because they are not only getting the nitrogen-based fertilizer, which the insurgents are looking for, but this is not attractive to the insurgents. So farmers, with the security escorts by the military, and which is organized by the Office of the National Security Advisor, they have been designed to benefit in this PFI program this year.
Now, how sustainable is the federal government subsidy, and what price should farmers expect to get fertilizer?
On this presidential fertilizer initiative, there's no subsidy because you're getting already from 9,000 to 5,500.
Is it sustainable?
It's sustainable because it's a partnership by the private sector with government. And the program has saved government almost 60 billion in terms of subsidy. This by government using their own power to do the government-to-government negotiation with the Moroccan government in terms of the phosphate, which this negotiation was led by President Muhammadu Buhari himself with the King of Morocco, that led us into signing an agreement in December 2nd, 2016, which led to the implementation of this program, and the production have started. It's sustainable because the program is being partnered by the Fertilizer Producer Association and the Nigerian Sovereign Investment Authority, who are the funder of this program. The program design is a loan to the producers at 9%. So what the farmers are buying, the payment the farmers are making, is the same money we're revolving to buy the raw material and turn it back into the market.
Now, actually, when you talk about measures put in place, especially in the Northeast, like we mentioned, there are safeguards to supplies of fertilizer against stockpiling and diversion.
Well, you see, that's why the charting is done by the National Security Advisor's Office, because the database of the agro dealers that deal in these inputs have been taken to know who and who are dealing. And they are not allowed to stockpile before the season.
Okay.
Because if they stockpile before the season, there can be attack to their warehouses, and these have been used by the insurgents. But the program that has been designed now, there's going to be an escort by the military to all the various locations, there's a mapping that has been done in the Northeast for the farmers. So it's not going to be a free market like before the insurgent happened. It's a special situation in the Northeast, and it has to be designed specifically for them. And that has been designed by the help of the National Security Advisor's Office.
Okay,
brilliant. So I don't see any challenge in this farming season for the farmers in Northeast.
Brilliant. Yeah. Now, are there considerations to alternatives to fertilizer through organic farming or things like that, the green revolution?
Yeah, we have the organic fertilizers, which is just starting, because worldwide, when you look at the population, is growing. Nigeria should be hitting 220 million by 2020. And we are not producing enough of that. But you are looking at 10% against the chemical fertilizer. But gradually it will pick up.
Now, how soon do you feel that Nigeria can begin to produce its own fertilizer?
Nigeria is producing its own fertilizer now.
Yes, basically we're producing purely Nigerian fertilizer.
Yeah, we're producing nitrogen 100%. We're exporting nitrogen out of the country. We have 2 plants for nitrogen-based fertilizer. We have Indorama, we have Notori, with the capacity to produce 2 million tons of fertilizer. And we are using about 1.1 million tons in the country. The rest has been exported. And in terms of the NPK-based fertilizer, we're self-sufficient. We have capacity to produce 6 million tons. And currently, there is 32 blending plants in the country for this. Right now, 11 has been brought back because they were moribund. By the help of President Muhammadu Buhari, presidential initiative, we're able to revive those industry and jobs were created.
I must thank you very much for being on the program.
Thank you very much.
Weekend File. Thank you for sharing your thoughts with us.
Thank you.
Moving on the final segment of our show tonight is sports and the weather outlook for tomorrow. After this time, don't go away.
The National League of Medicines, with the World Health Organization pre-qualification of made in Nigeria pharmaceutical products, stiffer penalties for fake drug offenders with a review of NAFDAC laws, national, regional, and international collaborations, cutting-edge technologies, including the mobile authentication service.
NAFDAC impacts upon everything we do, including water we drink, the food we eat. They are important organs to the development of this country. And everybody should come out and join them and support them and help them to achieve the greatest benefits and success that they need to the body.
Let us support NAFDAC to win the war against fake drugs and other unwholesome regulated products. NAFDAC, safeguarding the health of the nation.
So what's up, sweetheart? You really look like you're up to something.
I have a secret.
Okay.
I'll be going to Europe next week.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Like you have your visa, your passport, your plane ticket?
No, not that way. Some men are helping us. We pay them, they take us through the desert, and then we cross the sea into Europe.
The desert, the sea. Isn't that the route where many have died?
Yes, it is indeed a very dangerous journey. In 2016 alone, 4,900 people died while crossing the Mediterranean Sea to enter Europe. Many were Nigerians. For the very few who survived the journey, they are forced into prostitution or other crimes just to survive. Eventually, they will be arrested and deported to Nigeria. Don't be a victim. Don't go this way.
This is a public service announcement brought to you by NTA.
Super Sand Eagles already in Bahamas for the Beach Soccer World Cup.